kids benefited greatly by having Eric Berlowski as their coach this season. The JVs had an excellent season. I think that there's a lot of potential there. They ended up 13-7, and I think that for you folks that saw most of their games, they really improved as the season progressed. Sometimes when the game started, they were, shall we say, behind the eight ball a little bit, but they came back real strongly in a lot of their games and pulled them out. I think they might have even had a 5 or 6 game winning streak at the end of the season, and some of those kids have really improved. As you very well know, we have freshmen and sophomores playing on our JV squad, and a lot of times those freshmen really have to step up their play, and that happened this year, and that's the reason that with a strong nucleus of sophomores and a strong group of freshmen stepping up and doing the job, they ended up having a nice year. I'm going to start this game, the dribbling, the passing. I think that he can make some good contribution next year as a sophomore. The next young man, and he definitely is in Florida, is Jeff Delaney. Jeff was a part-time starter, a 6-footer, one of our left-handers. He had pretty good moves for a freshman. He's grown up to be a pretty good-sized lad, about 165, 170 pounds. He's very dependable, and he surprises people with his quickness around the basket. He played a major role this season, and we're expecting him to come back and get stronger next year. The first of our award winners this evening, we'd like to have you come up and receive your certificate. Joe is a 5'8" guard. He's really quick, and he possesses excellent jumping ability. Joe loves to get up on that rim and see if he can jump a little bit. He's going to get it. I think next year he'll have it down really well. He was put in as a spot player in pressing situations, and you could always count on Joe to go out there and just hustle his fanny off, trying to get those turnovers. He has a pretty good outside shot, but he needs to just develop a little stronger ball handling skills and working within the offense to make a contribution next year on the varsity. We're looking for Joe to come up on the varsity. We're going to need some real good depth. Next we have Adam Elsesser. Adam? Adam's got good size. His major attribute is he's over 6'1", 190 pounds, probably. Maybe I'll stretch him up to 190. Okay. He's a football player. He was very dependable. He needs to work on his jumping a little bit of his ball handling, a little bit of his passing. He has assured us that next year, Adam is just a freshman to come back as a sophomore. That he's going to work real hard over the summer and come back and get into that playing next season. Next, we have Kevin Van Dusen. Kevin has been playing over some nagging injuries that he's come down with this season. It's kind of slowed him down a little bit. He played quite a bit last year. He didn't play quite as much as he wanted to this year. He's a fine young man. He's got some good shooting abilities. Kevin never complains openly to the coaches. He might go home and complain a little bit. But he did a nice job out there. He said he needs to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more hard-nosed. Sometimes some of our kids are just too nice. And Kevin certainly could fall in that category. But he does have a good shot. If we play a little bit more zone defense, which we might have to next year, that shot was on the floor. We're looking for Kevin to get on the varsity next season as he enters his junior year. Next, we have Blake Shansky. started most of the season for us, coming up as a freshman and did a nice job. He was a guard, a second guard. Early in the year, he was shooting the ball real well, and then he kind of went into a little bit of a slump and trailed off a little bit. But he's going to have good size when he ends up done growing. He's got real good quickness and fools people with that left-handed release. Steve is going to have a good busy summer, we know, and come back even stronger at the JV level. Probably be the leading scorer. Next, we have Joe McDevitt. Joe's grown up to be more than a manager around here. He was a manager for about 8 years. Joe's got good size, very solid all-around player. Of course, he gets a lot of scrutiny from his dad at home and also on the playing court. Joe is the second leading rebounder, about 8.5 rebounds per game. He was a good passer. I think that that was one of the things that he could do well. In presses, against presses, Joe took the ball out of bounds for us and was instrumental in the JVs being able to handle pressure from the opposing team. Late in the season, he got a little bit more confidence with his outside shot and knocked in a few threes. We're hoping that with hard work this spring and summer, he can jump up to the varsity and make a contribution next year. We're definitely going to need his size. Next, we have Chris is a natural forward that has been playing point guard for 2 seasons. Chris has got good size. He's a little over 6 feet tall. He started almost every game at point for us. He ended up being the 3rd leading scorer on the team with 11-point average. He's got a good quality stand-up jump shot, and he does slice pretty well at the basket. When he makes up his mind he's going, you better stand that, because he's going to drive down there hard. But he finishes pretty good, and that's it. You know, if you don't finish when you get down there, you know, it doesn't do you any good to slash down there. But Chris is a solid player, and he's got good size. He grows as big as his dad. You know, we'll have a big player here at Paris. Next, we have Chris Teber. Chris is another one of those freshmen that really made a big jump up from what he was as an 8th grader. You know, he kind of coasted along. You know, we thought he could do some things. And he's got good size. Chris ended up being the leading scorer on the JV squad this year as a freshman. He's a little bit over 6 feet tall. As a matter of fact, I keep looking at him and saying he's almost getting up there around 6'2", but maybe that's wishful thinking on my part. Chris is an outstanding shooter. You know, sometimes, you know, some people don't have enough confidence to shoot the ball. Chris certainly demonstrated throughout the course of the season, especially after the second half of the season, that he was the person to get the shot, and he could make them. You know, and the coaches are always looking for a basketball player that can shoot the ball and can make it. Chris shot over 40% from the field, and was a real good free throw shooter. He shot nearly 80%. And with that type of shooting, you know, we're going to find a spot for him in our program. No doubt about that. Good, solid prospect for us. The last of the JV award winners this evening is Brandon Lardy. Brandon is our center, was our leading rebounder, just a little bit over 10 rebounds per game. Brandon's got good size. We're hoping that he'll grow to be about 6'5" or 6'6". He's spurted up about 3 inches right now. Because last season, when he was just over 6'1", he's probably 6'3", 6'3 and a half right now. And 20, 60 points. Even early in the second half. And with the good guard play by these other fellas and the scoring by these guys, they came on to win some nice games. They really felt good about themselves. And I know they did. You know, they had a nice time. They had a real nice time this season. Brandon can shoot the turnaround jumper, and he can catch the ball on the post. And those are the things that you need to be able to do as a fifth player. And we're looking forward to having Brandon on varsity next year. He's going to make a contribution somewhere. Hopefully, right from the opening bell. We can't wait to get our averages up as the season goes on. We got to get it right off the bat. I'm real proud of these kids. I think you folks should be very proud of them. You know, they just keep working and working and working. And I think they found out that they could work even harder and they could be a little bit more intense as the season went on. You know, they always think that they're doing the best they can, but we coaches always ask them to do just a little bit more. And these kids rose to the occasion, and I'm very happy that they did that and look forward to working with all of them in the next year or two. Thank you. That's our JV.
One thing that I might have forgotten to mention, both these squads, I already said they're so easy to work with, but they were so easy to work with and great to work with. They listened and they learned most of the time. But they really did. They listened and they learned, and they were very hardworking and determined.
the teens, Mr. Peplowski at the JV level, Mr. Shansky, and Mr. Tom Lewis at the 8th and 7th grade level. And interspersed in that list back there are 12 other coaches. We're getting to be quite a staff. We have a developmental Little League program, and I think that it can only enhance the skill and the abilities of our kids. That starts at the 4th grade level, and those guys come out and volunteer their time to work with their sons, and I don't think there's any better or more wholesome activity to be out working with your son like that. So we appreciate all those people. I think that a game at Perry is a special game. Mr. David Pitts and our pep band are outstanding. I think they probably have the best pep band in the league, if not the whole entire area. It is a happening. We get the big crowd up there and all of our students and fans behind us. We've had some real special moments. The first award winners this evening, in keeping with these special people that work for us and with us to better our program, you always have these little fellows that nipping at your heels. They idolize and look up to these varsity basketball players. These two guys that I'm going to call up here soon are just fine young men. You know, they never complain. They chase out their balls. They're glorified gophers. One thing I try not to do is let my guys abuse them. Okay, they're a gopher for me, but not a gopher for them. And I think they figure that out rather quickly. Okay, so you know, you can only answer so many bosses, and they didn't have 12. They only had one, and they knew it. Okay, so I would like to give certificates to my two managers. They're good prospects. You know, they're in that developmental program right now, and they like to get in the corner of the gym and shoot and do a lot of nice things, and we appreciate their efforts all year. A 6th grader, Nathan Ryan, and a 5th grader, Mike Thomas. We've been fortunate to have a young man who's graduated a couple years ago, enjoys coming back and watching the games, and he also enjoys helping us out tremendously. And he's done a fantastic job, even though since he's been here I've had to go to glasses so that I can see. It's not because of his excellent printing. He does an excellent job. I'd like to introduce and give a certificate to Wayne Goodman. Wayne? This team is a very, very, very special team. These seniors, we've got 6 of them here tonight. There's 2 more that couldn't make it. Have been in our program, it seems like forever, since they were 5th graders. We started their program in the 5th and 6th grade. 12. But they really worked hard, and I'm going to be missing these seniors. But we're going to start with our juniors first. We're going to look for these guys to come back and turn up the intensity and turn up the ability some. Our first award winner for the varsity is Troy Henning. I would like to, before he comes up here, acknowledge his parents. They're not here today, are they? Jim and Cam Henning. Okay? You couldn't hear the dog. Okay. Troy is the son of Jim and Cam Henning. Troy, come on up here, please. Troy is a 6'1" junior. He has an uncanny ability to shoot three-pointers. Okay? He loves it. He had 2 games in which he scored 14 points against Leslie and Morris in each of those games. Came off the bench with his trigger finger ready. I think in one of those games he shot 6 out of 8 from the field, or 5 out of 7. I think he only missed a couple of shots. He's a little bit of a beefy guy underneath there. 7th grade. Okay, I knew we were It could be. You can always count on Troy to have a comment or two, but he did a nice job all year. He didn't play as much as he'd like to, but we're looking for him to get a jump shot. He has a kind of a quasi-set shot, and I've indicated to him that he needs to have a jump shot when he comes back next year, because he can get that. Yeah, that's a kind of. It's a jump. Troy did a nice job, and he's going to be a senior. We're going to look for some leadership out of him next year as he enters his final season. Congratulations, Troy. Our next award winner is the son of David Subot, Mr. Dan Bach. Dan? No, you don't do it right now. Dan's been in a program for a number of years. He's got pretty good size. Hope he's going to be about 6'3" next year. 6'2", 6'3". Okay, Ron is the tallest kid on our team at 6'3". Ronnie didn't even come out for the team as a freshman, a sophomore, and a junior. But the young man grew up. I mean, to tell you, he grew up in so many ways. He was an integral part of our football team this past season for the last 2 years. He played for the line, and I've got a lot of respect for the line because they have to be tough, rugged kids. Ron lacks some polish. Obviously, the kids that have been playing in our program for a while, he was a little bit behind them. But I need to tell you, you could call on Ron to beat on people, he pushed, shoved, do the things that he needed to do in practice. Okay? In practice. And even though he didn't get in the game a lot, he got in 5 or 6 games or 8 games, something like that. He was still there, and I could depend on him. And any program has got to have a young man like Ron. And I really enjoyed coaching Ron because I didn't know him that well. I knew him when he was a little bitty kid because I lived on the same street with him for a while. And so I knew Ron, but it was just great to have him on our team this year, and I wish him the best. Our next award winner is the son of Ann Scarlar, Mr. Gary Head. Gary? He started out the season, he had an excellent summer. During the summer, these guys play about 25 basketball games. They go to team camp, spend their own money on that. And David had an excellent summer. He came back, projected to be one of our starters, and did a nice job early on. I think one of the things that held him back a little bit, he knew this, he's heard it from several other coaches, is he was a little slow up foot. But David would give it his best effort every night. We could always count on David. And, he's probably going to follow in his dad's footsteps and be a very successful businessman. I really enjoyed David being on our squad. I think I'm going to move up a couple of these other guys here that are not more seasoned and just continue to progress each year. As a sophomore, he scored 9 points a game. As a junior, last year during the championship year, he scored 13.8 points per game. And this year, he upped his average to 16 points per game. Brad was second in rebounding, and he just had good jumping ability. He was an excellent free throw shooter by shooting over 72%. Brad made a couple of all-league teams, all-area teams. He was all-area in the Lansing State Journal, second team last year. Those teams haven't been announced this season. He was the Owasso Argus Quest second team all-area performer, and he was an all-league second team selection last year. Brad is had good court savvy and worked very hard for us to replace. I really appreciate him. I know that he's down in Florida soaking up some of that sun, but I've enjoyed working with Brad and wishing the best, and I appreciate the support from his mother, Mrs. Connie Green, who's over here taking our picture. Thank you very much. Let's give Brad. Okay. The next young man also is, he's the fellow that's out with his dad skiing in Colorado. Spencer Barnes, he's the son of Mike and Carol. Kyle would give you everything he had. He's not very tall. He wanted me to give him that 5'10" in the program. And we did that, even though he's probably 5'9" and 3/4. Kyle, he said, at 5'9", 3 years. Can you put a 5'10" in there, coach? So he did. Kyle is just a fierce competitor. He's a defensive demon. He struggled shooting the basketball. We all knew that. I think the opposition knew that. But on an occasion, he could get it done. He had a career high 14 points in the Stockbridge game. That was a game that we trailed the entire game until about the last 3 minutes. Kyle's basket just before he sprained an ankle, his 14th point put us over the hump, and we went on to win 58-50. That was to the victors goes the spoils game, and we got to eat pizza after that game, the next day at practice. Kyle has helped our team to win 35 games and only lose 8 in the last 2 years. When Tim went down with a stress fracture, Kyle was our 6th man. He jumped in there and became a starter and did an outstanding job. He was an excellent passer. You could count on this young man not to have any turnovers, or very few turnovers. If you look at his assist ratio to turnovers, it's easily 2-to-1. He was a team player, and he understood his role, and he never complained about the role that we AV team during his sophomore year, and he showed some real good scoring ability. John had an outstanding year. He became our leading scorer this year. He scored 340 points. That's a 16.2 average. He was our third leader in rebounds, 5.8, and he was our leader in assists with 5 assists per game. John has had some honors bestowed upon him. Last year he was second team all-league, second team all-area in the Shiawassee County. John had a fantastic spring and summer this past season. He was by far our best player, our leading scorer. Then he got that injury bug. He sprained his ankle just before the first game. And I know he came down with mono or some derivative thereof. And he went from 157 down to about 140. But we couldn't keep him out of any of those games. John worked hard. He worked in our developmental basketball program on Saturdays. And he was an excellent role model for our young people to emulate. He's certainly going to be a hard young man to replace, and I enjoy working with him. Congratulations. The last varsity award winner, saved the biggest is the last, is the son of Jim and Mary Ann Swain, Mr. Tim Swain. Tim has been on our varsity for 3 years. He started for 3 years, and he actually transferred into our program from one of the parochial schools in the area. It was a major contribution. I think we knew he was going to be a player when he was an 8th grader. He came down to practice. Coach Stoll prides himself on being able to shoot pretty well, and we have a game of 80 to shoot long shots and short shots. When Tim was an 8th grader, he beat Coach Stoll. And that kind of opened everybody's eyes. I can still remember that. That's a long time ago, 5 years ago. Tim started out his career on a high note. In his first varsity start against Corunna, which is no slouch, he got 18 points. And I feel that he's continued to play at that high level for these 3 years. Last year, he had a series of problems. He had a broken leg. He was dunking the ball, broke his leg. Then he had a stress fracture. Had to sit out half the season. Virtually, he missed 11 of the 22 games that we had last year. Tim had to make some major adjustments for the benefit of the team. He started off as a point guard, played at point for 2 years. When we lost some of our bigger people, Tim was shifted down to the post, and he just loved it in there. And defensively, he was always playing on against their big guys. And this year, he just had an outstanding year. Last year, he scored 5 points a game. This year, he scored 15.5. Third leading scorer. And of those 3 scorers, they were like peas in a pod. They were within, just points of each other. If you saw the state or the Yard Express, they were in the top 5 in the area all season long. Tim was our leading rebounder, just missed averaging 11 rebounds a game. And I really feel that the teams that wanted to defeat us had to really first start by shutting Tim down on the inside. Tim didn't play any other sports here, much to some of our other coaches' displeasure, because he's an outstanding athlete. But basketball was his game, and that's the game that he excelled in. And his size and presence in the middle is going to be just almost impossible to replace. And I wish him nothing but the best. Congratulations, Tim. Okay, gentlemen, this is it. 14-7. Could have been something else, but it could have been something worse. I really appreciate all of your effort. Okay, you can sit down. appreciate her efforts, and we're sorry to see her go. But maybe in a year or two, when some of those kids get into school, she can go back as our We have one most valuable player as selected by a board of the team. He was very valuable. If I had to make a choice, he would have been one of my three most valuable. The choice of the team, and an excellent choice it is, the most valuable for 1991 Prairie basketball goes to Tim Swain. These kids, have raised the level of basketball in Perry to another notch. Okay? They really have. We cut down our turnovers. I can remember, heaven forbid, you probably can't, when we have 25 or so turnovers a game, and couldn't shoot a lick. These guys are players, and it's just been fantastic coaching them for the last 3 years. You younger players, we start practice on the first Tuesday or Thursday when school gets out. We're going to expect that you'll elevate your game to the level these guys demonstrated during their careers here. We appreciate all of your support. Looking forward to another exciting, challenging season in 1991-92. And drive safely on the way home. Thank you very much.
This isn't on the agenda, but I wanted to do this last year, and this year I'm going to do it because I won't be here next year. He's been standing up here all night, giving nothing but good comments and deserving comments to each one of the players. I want you all to know for the last 2 years, the games I've gone to, I have never observed such good sportsmanship and good conduct from the Perry players that I've seen in other teams. They all have good conduct. Sometimes it's gotten a little rough, and our boys never retaliated. And it comes from the players, but it also comes from the coach. Give them a big hand.